What's going on, gamers? We got an interesting topic here to cover coming from Moore's Law about something that's absolutely nuts if true, and it has something to do, once again, with PlayStation physical ownership backlash. But it gets more interesting. He's saying that, along with other people, that Sony is using bot accounts to defend the backlash. I'm like, wait, hold on, what? That's crazy. And then we got a video right up here to get to Moore's Law, because I found this first in another post basically explaining things. I'm like, okay, let me wait for this to actually, blow up a little bit. But I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just cover this. Following the controversial announcement of the end of physical format on PlayStation, Moore's Law is dead. There's a lot of people call him a Sony fanboy sometimes. I'm like, I don't know about that. He's pretty good at what he does. Reports the use of hired bot accounts, because a fanboy's not going to do this, to boost messages in favor of Sony. So pretty much damage control. Are we really ready to get into this? Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe, support a real channel that covers things in a balanced manner, not just grifting in one direction. According to the investigation, accounts that used to post about unrelated topics suddenly begin to defend the company's decision. You're like, wait, what? We're gonna get to this video, stick around. Spoiler, the bots won't feel the pinch in their wallets when everything goes digital. Of course not, it's a bot. Doesn't have any feelings. It's just machine learning and whatever you wanna do with it in a binary sense. Tremendous lore is being built around that disk thing though, right? And then we kind of get these two symbols right here with that symbol right there, as you know. But yeah, and then we get a post right here talking about the digital format. Now going up, this is what Moore's Law is dead is saying right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Notice that a bunch of gamers on Twitter were suggesting that the people defending Sony right now, Sony's attempt to kill physical discs, were actually not humans, that they were hired bots deployed to do damage control. And I've got to be honest, my gut reaction was to think that this idea was probably overblown. I mean, sure, the internet's full of bots and you'll find them on either side of whatever. But then, well, I started digging into it. Through the comments, specifically responding to Sony's posts on Twitter, purely out of curiosity. And I think this might actually be true.
I guess we're gonna go over
now,
here.
to be clear about what I'm talking about, though, what I did is I scrolled and tried to find anyone fully defending an all-digital, zero ownership future in the replies to Sony's tweets, or maybe Rockstar's tweets, or tweets that Sony's account reposts. So I'm not talking about, like, someone having a hot take on Twitter or a YouTube channel with a real person talking who's like, actually, I think the all digital future is inevitable. Those are not the people I am talking about. I am talking about someone that would bother to spend their time in these comment sections to Sony's tweets themselves, arguing with people saying we don't want to lose our discs. Again, it's not someone making a hot take somewhere or giving their opinion because they feel like they have to speak. It's this idea of, are there really people trying to do like counter protests to the people protesting every tweet and post a Sony or PlayStation account makes? And well, I went through and it was actually very, very, very hard for me to find anyone defending Sony in these replies. Like, it really, in some posts I couldn't find them. I don't know if that's just Twitter's algorithm showing me the replies it thinks I want to see to stay engaged. Maybe, I don't know, but it was very hard. And so if there was a sizable amount, I think I would have seen more. In fact, I can count on like one hand what I could find in an hour. And well, what I did is when I found someone who was defending Sony's decision to kill discs, I scrolled through their entire history on Twitter with a high resolution video really quickly, and then I uploaded these to Gemini Pro and told Gemini to flag these things. That way I could go through years of tweets and find red flags. Now, I also manually went through a lot of it myself, and the funniest things were mostly found by me, but still, this allowed me to do a quick snapshot analysis, and yeah, I think all three of the examples I found are actually bots. Now, to be clear, there's no way for me to be 100% sure.
Damn, I'm not surprised by this, to be honest with you. Sorry, guys, I'm off the camera because it's kind of just weird having my camera right in on his as we're in full screen here. Of course, I can go out if we want to look at it like this and I stay on the camera. I have no problem. We can both see this actually very easily. What I can do is have to zoom in a little bit like this. Here we go. Give you actually a little bit more zoom in. This will actually be better. But this doesn't surprise me because that's the way to combat things without putting your emotions in it and dealing with negativity. You could just have the bots mass flood and then boost the algorithm, pay Twitter, do the same thing and comments on YouTube. You know what I mean? It just really depends. So yeah, this is like, what are we doing here, Sony?
Someone's a bot. Well, except for case study 3. That person, I am 100% sure was a bot. But I have to say that, right? You never know. Someone can speak in a way that looks bot-like and, whatever. And so I want to be clear that I can't be 100% sure. I basically have to just say that, to be fair. And I do not want anyone to go harass them, report them, or interact with these accounts. The point of this is not to call anyone out or cause harm or any stress to someone that could possibly be real. But here's the thing, I thought I had to show them for this piece of investigative journalism to even work, right? If I don't bring the receipts, if I don't show the full examples, I can't make my point. So I had to show them, but again, if they are real, for that matter, for any chance that they could be, do not harass them. All right, so let's get to the case studies, as I call them. So case number 1, this person is a supposed fan of One Piece that conveniently uses the main character to hide his face. Of course, he is defending Sony's move to go all digital and even somehow actually using the PS3 store shutting down as an example that the all digital future is good. Yeah, that was a huge red flag to me that we should look into if this one is probably a bot. And if you go back, you can see that he has frequently been hyping up PlayStation stuff for a while now, but well, this was the smoking gun for me. He pretends to be excited about a Wolverine ad being part of some deal to be shown before the movie The Odyssey in theaters this weekend. And he was hyping up The Odyssey just 2 days before it was publicly announced that there'd be this big Wolverine Odyssey deal. How did he know that? I guess maybe he just decided to become a big Christopher Nolan fan, despite not really talking about that at all in his account in the past, 2 days before a big deal with Sony, but I find that unlikely. And if you go back to his timeline as well, he oddly has rabid interests, one after another, that are sometimes months or years apart with radio silence. It's a hallmark of bots on Twitter. Like this person, like for some reason, for a few months, all Dragon Ball Z posts and then all WWE posts, and the WWE posts have perfectly spelled with parts of it capitalized tweets, like they were given to him from a corporation. Like, so if you see a person who, like, for 1 year is just all of this weird political, like, hate stuff, and then they're gone for a month, and then all of a sudden it's all perfectly written corporate-y WWE tweets, and then a year later it's time to talk about PlayStation, that is how you know that this person is almost for sure a bot. I'm not 100% sure with this person, but I've got to say I'm 90% sure. All right, now let's move on to case study 2, the supposed Rockstar mega fan. This account was pretty bad. It came off like an official Rockstar promotional account that was constantly defending them on Twitter, and yet it has an unused TikTok account. It links to for no reason, almost like it's preparing to use that one as a bot, like swarm account, but hasn't started using it yet. Why link to it if it's not used? And then in the past also has hyped up a lot of accounts that are now deleted, almost like they were part of a purge of bots. But this for me was the most damning thing. The account is supposedly 6 years old, and yet the first post was from a month ago and basically was just a promotional tweet for GTA 6. Yeah, this one here, I am 99% sure this one is a bot. I mean, just look at the hashtags. It looks completely corporate-y. But, all right, so I said 90%, then 99%. What about that one account I said I'm 100% sure of? Well, we're going to get to it. The alleged Christian, sometimes Nintendo, sometimes PlayStation, sometimes PC gamer, depending on who's paying the account that month, and always AI-generated fan that is 100% a bot. We're going to get to that after an ad from a sponsor. You guys know I spend a lot of time analyzing what the big tech companies are doing behind the scenes, and one thing that is constant is they are upset I actually use Proton Mail for free today. All right. Case study number 3, the Christian dad that says, life is so short that you should give up on owning games. No joke, a real tweet from this person. As usual, this month, this person, like the other accounts I've been looking at, was spent defending PlayStation, getting rid of disc, and hyping up GTA 6, like all of these accounts seem to be doing, by the way. In between, virtue signaling that he loves Jesus and his supposedly totally real human kids. Which, on a side note, you should see the horrific post this guy was making about subjects connected to politics earlier this year. I don't even think I can show them. Clearly bought to post political stuff back then, that I, as someone who was at least raised Catholic, find very un-Christian and hilarious that now he's acting like, why can't we just not argue after I just said all those horrific things? But anyways, there's red flags everywhere with this account. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will point out that they were part of a boosting club. This is where like different bots find each other, powered by AI, and boost each other and follow each other so they look like they're real because they have a lot of followers, including boosting accounts that speak languages he supposedly does not speak. Very interesting to follow that account. And in fact, his first post was being part of a boosting bot club, and that's despite supposedly joining Twitter in 2023. So supposedly joined in 2022. So the person joins in 2022, nothing for 3 years. First act of the account is to start boosting itself up in other bots. And by the way, if you check a lot of those threads, a lot of the accounts on there have already been purged by Twitter. Yeah. It's bad. It's hilarious. This is clearly a bot, but here's really the funniest thing for me. There is this image he posted at some point to show that he's a real gamer dad who likes Ohio State. And let me just put up this totally real image here. Where do we begin? Well, first of all, I don't know what Ohio State fan would have a tiny little decal in a corner, and I don't really know what's going on with the weird toys going on below him there, but just look at that American flag. Clearly AI generated. Those aren't stars. Or look at the pizza, how it like turns into the cardboard pizza box. Or if you go onto the monitor, you can see that this is a Bizarro World, a basketball court with gibberish writing all over the place. And actually, this one here is probably my favorite part of it. The AI that made this image just kind of seemed to want to make his beer an Ohio State sponsored beer. That's really quite funny to me. Although not as funny as this AI bot trying to prove that he's real by posting a new profile picture of himself saying, "See, I'm real." And that picture isn't even the same person. So look, there you go. Yeah, I could almost not find anyone defending Sony's actions this month in the replies to their actual posts on Twitter. And every person that I did find, I mean this, every person that I found was a bot. So does that mean I'm not saying everyone who's defending this is a bot? No, but I am saying that the defenders in those Sony posts seem to mostly be it.
Okay, so that last guy, that was pretty obvious when you think about what he just exposed and how you had the fake AI images on the basketball court with the fake simulated basketball court. See how bad this is now? And that these are the people that are saying give up digital and, oh man, with the fake Christian post and all that, that's really bad. It really says a lot right there for sure. I don't know what to say about that. At first, I was like, okay, let's get to something really big, because I can understand the last two. I'm like, okay, but that third one, after showing all those posts and then him even saying I'm not a bot, yeah, it basically clarifies a lot. I don't understand why Sony needs to do that if they say that they don't really care about engaging with you and that it's going to work anyway. So what's the point of those like posts? It's not like they have millions of posts, but I guess when you have so many around, you're trying to convince people. But this is pretty weird. So yeah, I don't know, guys. You guys are gonna have to let me know what you think about this.
Again, I can't be sure I've checked everything, but that's what it seems like. And well, does that mean I'm sure that Sony hired these bots? Well, of course I'm not sure Sony did.
Yeah.
But I will say that I noticed many accounts do seem to be like they're at least hired by Rockstar. Like there was a lot of these accounts are all about hyping GTA 6 and then defending Sony's all digital future. So if it's not Sony, I think it might be Rockstar. And if they did it, of course, they do it through intermediaries. So it's hard to prove because that would be such a PR disaster. But at the end of the day, And of course, also maybe these are just like Russian or Iranian bots getting ready to attack the American election later this year. And right now they're just warming up, trying to look like real people by arguing online about really the hottest debate in gaming this summer. That could be what they are, but this is what sticks with me. The hashtags look too perfect. If this is some like foreign government account warming up to mess with the US elections this fall, why are the accounts so perfectly tweeting like they're official promotional accounts for Sony or Rockstar? And frankly, the worst thing is, how did that one account know to start hyping up the Odyssey 2 days before the Wolverine deal with it? That's not a coincidence there. That means
Okay, I see it. That's 318,000 views. Yeah, that's pretty big.
someone there knew something. And so if it's not Sony, I think it's Rockstar, but I think someone there at these companies, through some intermediary way, hired a bunch of bots to make you guys feel like you're crazy for saying you want to own your games.
Yeah.
And frankly, this right there, that's why it's hard for me to get excited for PlayStation 6 anymore. It's not really about the discs. You could convince me an all-digital future will be better.
Yeah,
I've talked about it in previous pieces
that.
of content. It's just the way they're handling this PR crisis, the way they're treating this community, it tells me I shouldn't support them because they seem to hate their fans and are deploying bizarre methods of gaslighting when it...
Yeah, that too. And like I said, I was okay because I do digital. It's more about the way that you're doing it and how about there's no ownership rights to anything. And then their arrogance, the way that they're displaying it, it's like, oh yeah, that's not good.
It would probably just be cheaper to give gamers what they want, ownership over things they bought.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. I don't think this is working for Sony, and I don't think it's going to for a few reasons. First of all, it's blowing up days after my initial reporting, this story I'm bringing up now, that devs are having an issue with Sony because they pay for these slots or they lobby when a game's coming out to get a tweet from Sony around their release to promote their game. Devs are starting to get really pissed off that when their game is promoted by Sony, it's during a backlash and it actually looks like it's actually counterproductive to making their game get more sales.
Yeah, I made a video about that. So yeah, guys, interesting stuff. Definitely after that third exposure, that right there was huge. Then seeing that one guy with 300,000 views on that as well, because obviously they're paying Twitter to manipulate and spike the post. And you got all these AI bots flooding in, trying to make you feel like he said, that you don't know what you're talking about. You should just accept it and convert and comply if you're not in that medium or you don't like the way they're doing things. So interesting stuff here by Moore's Law is dead. As I said, I found about this through that other post, and I was like, okay, let me go to his page to see if I can find a video of him. He literally did this yesterday. So yeah, there it is again. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is not a video where I'm saying much because we had to learn and see what he's talking about. We all learned this together, and I covered whatever I needed to cover at the beginning of the video. So yeah, become a member, leave a tip down below. Let me know what you guys think for sure. I don't get the point of Sony doing this when they already said what they wanted to say. You know what I mean? It just makes them look more just weird doing it. I don't know. It's all weird when you ask me, just the way that this is just going about. I think some of the AI stuff is just like creepy weird. But yeah, later, y'all. Keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on or app.